Imagine this. You're worth $50 million. You walk into the most exclusive five-star hotel in the city, a hotel that you actually own 60% of, and you're told to give up your reserved VIP room because another guest looks more appropriate for the space. The staff doesn't recognize you. They see your skin color and make assumptions, and they're about to escort you out of your own property. But this wasn't just any ordinary guest being humiliated and discriminated against. This was Marcus Thompson, a tech CEO who built his empire from nothing, a man who could buy and sell that entire hotel chain with a single phone call. And what happened next didn't just shock the racist staff members. It completely destroyed their careers, changed company policy forever, and left the white guest who thought he deserved special treatment begging for forgiveness. The revenge was so perfectly calculated, so absolutely devastating, that when you hear what this brilliant CEO did in response, you'll understand why this story went viral and why every single person in that hotel lobby will never forget the day they learned that respect has nothing to do with the color of your skin and everything to do with the content of your character and the size of your bank account. If you believe that hard work and character should determine how people treat you, not the color of your skin or your appearance, then hit that subscribe button right now. If you think that respect should be earned through dedication, integrity, and success, not handed out based on stereotypes and prejudice, then this channel is for you. Because what you're about to witness isn't just a story about discrimination. It's a masterclass in how real power works, how true success speaks louder than ignorance, and why judging someone by their appearance is the fastest way to destroy your own career. So if you stand against racism and believe in equality, prove it by subscribing, because this story will show you exactly what happens when someone's assumptions crash into cold, hard reality. The lesson this CEO taught that day changed lives forever. And by the end of this video, your perspective on respect, success, and justice might never be the same. Meet Marcus Thompson, a name that strikes fear into competitors and inspires thousands of employees across his tech empire. At just 42 years old, Marcus had built Technova Solutions from a tiny startup in his garage into a billion-dollar company that revolutionized cloud computing for major corporations. Forbes had just ranked him as one of the top 50 most influential Black entrepreneurs in America, and his personal net worth had soared past $50 million. But Marcus wasn't just about making money. He was known throughout the business world for his incredible philanthropy, funding scholarships for underprivileged kids, and building tech centers in underserved communities. On this particular Tuesday morning, Marcus pulled up to the Grand Meridian Hotel in his understated black Tesla. He never believed in flashy displays of wealth. The Grand Meridian wasn't just any hotel. It was the most prestigious business destination in the city, where Fortune 500 deals were made and corporate empires were built. The marble lobby gleamed under crystal chandeliers, and the staff moved with practiced precision, catering to millionaires and moguls who called this place their second home. Marcus had reserved the hotel's exclusive VIP boardroom 3 weeks in advance for what could be the most important meeting of his career. He was about to close a $200 million acquisition deal with a European tech firm, a deal that would expand his company internationally and secure his position as one of the most powerful tech CEOs in the world. Everything had been planned to perfection, from the catered lunch to the presentation materials already set up in the room. This wasn't just a business meeting. It was the culmination of 2 years of negotiations that would change everything. Marcus walked through the grand lobby with quiet confidence, his polished leather briefcase in hand, nodding politely to the doorman who held the elevator. He'd stayed at the Grand Meridian dozens of times. This was his sanctuary for high-stakes business deals. As the elevator rose to the executive floor, he reviewed his notes one final time. The European executives would arrive in 30 minutes and everything needed to be perfect. But when Marcus approached the VIP boardroom, he found the heavy oak doors already occupied. Through the glass panels, he could see a middle-aged white man in an expensive gray suit setting up his own materials, spreading documents across the mahogany table that Marcus had specifically reserved. Marcus knocked gently and stepped inside. "Excuse me, I believe there's been a mistake. I have this room reserved for 2 p.m." The white man, later identified as Robert Sterling, a real estate developer, barely looked up from his papers. "Sorry, buddy, but I'm using this room today. Maybe try the coffee shop downstairs." Marcus remained calm, his voice steady but firm. "I reserved this room 3 weeks ago for an international business meeting. Let me call the front desk to sort this out." Before Marcus could reach for his phone, 2 hotel staff members appeared. Jennifer Walsh, the assistant manager, and David Kumar, a senior concierge. Both had been working at the Grand Meridian for over 5 years, priding themselves on their ability to handle VIP guests. "Is there a problem here?" Jennifer asked, her eyes immediately focusing on Marcus with barely concealed suspicion. "Yes, there seems to be a double booking situation," Marcus explained professionally. "I reserved this boardroom weeks ago, and I have very important clients arriving shortly." Robert Sterling stood up, adjusting his gold cufflinks with theatrical confidence. "Look, I'm here for a major development deal worth millions. I'm sure this gentleman can find somewhere else more suitable for his needs." The staff exchanged glances, and in that split second, their unconscious bias revealed itself. Without checking a single record, without asking for confirmation, Jennifer Walsh made a decision that would haunt her career forever. "Sir," she said, addressing Marcus with a tone that was polite but dismissive, "Mr. Sterling is one of our platinum members. I'm sure we can find you another space that would work better for your meeting." Marcus felt the familiar sting of discrimination, but his expression remained composed. 20 years of building a business empire had taught him to control his emotions, even when facing ignorance. "I'd like you to check your reservation system. You'll find that Marcus Thompson reserved this room on the 15th of last month." David Kumar barely glanced at his tablet. "Our system shows Mr. Sterling has priority booking. Perhaps the business center downstairs would be more appropriate." The assumption was clear, poisonous, and devastating. They looked at Marcus, a black man despite his expensive suit and professional demeanor, and assumed he didn't belong in their VIP boardroom. They saw Robert Sterling, white, older, speaking with entitled authority, and immediately granted him legitimacy. "Gentlemen," Marcus said, his voice dropping to a dangerously quiet tone, "I suggest you check your records very carefully, and I mean very, very carefully." The tension in the room became suffocating. Robert Sterling smirked, clearly enjoying the power dynamic. The staff stood their ground, confident in their assumption, and Marcus Thompson, worth more than everyone in that room combined, prepared to teach them all a lesson about respect, power, and the catastrophic cost of prejudice. The silence in the VIP boardroom was deafening. Marcus reached into his suit jacket with deliberate slowness, pulling out a sleek business card holder. The staff watched nervously as he selected a card and placed it on the mahogany table with a soft click that seemed to echo through the room. "Allow me to properly introduce myself," Marcus said, his voice carrying a new weight of authority. "Marcus Thompson, CEO and founder of Technova Solutions. But more importantly for this conversation," he paused, letting the tension build, "I'm also the majority shareholder of Meridian Hotel Group. I own 60% of this company." The color drained from Jennifer Walsh's face so quickly you could practically watch it happen in real time. David Kumar's tablet slipped from his trembling hands, clattering onto the marble floor. Robert Sterling's smug expression froze, his mouth slightly open in shock. That's impossible," Jennifer stammered, her voice barely above a whisper. Marcus pulled out his phone with practice calm. Jennifer Walsh, employee ID 4471, hired March 15th, 2019. David Kumar, employee ID 4823, hired January 8th, 2018. Annual performance reviews due next month. Should I continue? The room felt like it was spinning. Jennifer frantically grabbed David's fallen tablet, her fingers shaking as she accessed the reservation system she should have checked 15 minutes earlier. The screen loaded, and there it was, clear as day. Thompson Marcus, VIP Boardroom, reserved October 15th, 2024, 2 p.m., Priority Platinum Plus. But that wasn't the worst part. As she scrolled through the booking details, her heart sank even further. The reservation wasn't just confirmed. It was flagged with a special code that she'd never seen before. Owner Priority, Executive Level Clearance. "Oh my God," David whispered, his face pale as he read over her shoulder. "The reservation. It's been in the system for 3 weeks, and it's marked as Owner Priority." Marcus stepped forward, his presence now commanding the entire room. "Would you like to see my shareholder certificates, my board member identification? Or perhaps you prefer to call the corporate office and have them confirm that you just discriminated against the man who signs your paychecks?" Robert Sterling suddenly found his voice, scrambling to gather his papers. "Look, I had no idea. This is all a misunderstanding. I can find another room." But Marcus held up a hand, stopping him. "Mr. Sterling, you're not the problem here. You simply took advantage of a situation that was offered to you. The problem is with staff members who make assumptions based on appearance rather than doing their jobs professionally." Jennifer Walsh's career flashed before her eyes. 5 years of exemplary service, positive reviews, promotions, all potentially destroyed by 60 seconds of unconscious bias. She looked at Marcus with desperate eyes, finally understanding the magnitude of what had just happened. "Mr. Thompson," she began, her voice cracking, I am so profoundly sorry. There's no excuse for what just happened. We should have checked the system immediately. We should have—" Marcus's expression remained unreadable. The most powerful man in the building had just been treated like he didn't belong there. And everyone in that room knew that careers were about to be ended. Policies were about to be changed, and this moment would be talked about in corporate training sessions for years to come. Marcus Thompson stood in the center of that VIP boardroom, and for a moment, everyone waited for the explosion. But what happened next revealed exactly why Marcus had built a billion-dollar empire. "Mr. Sterling, I'm going to ask you to leave this room now. Your reservation was clearly secondary to mine. Please gather your materials." Robert Sterling scrambled to collect his papers, mumbling apologies as he fled from the boardroom. Then Marcus turned to face Jennifer and David. "Mrs. Walsh, Mr. Kumar, what happened here today wasn't just a mistake. It was unconscious bias that could have destroyed your careers and this hotel's reputation. You looked at me and made an assumption based solely on my appearance." Jennifer Walsh was crying now. "Mr. Thompson, please, I'm so sorry. I don't know what came over me." Marcus held up his hand gently. "This isn't about destroying your career. This is about learning. Do you understand what could have happened if I had been a young black entrepreneur trying to close his first major deal? You would have sent him away, humiliated him, and possibly destroyed his dreams." He pulled out his phone. "Here's what's going to happen. I'm calling corporate headquarters. Both of you will be suspended for 1 week without pay and attend mandatory diversity training. You'll write detailed reports on what happened here and how you plan to ensure it never happens again." David Kumar found his voice. "Mr. Thompson, will we still have our jobs?" Marcus studied them carefully. "That depends on whether you truly understand what happened here today. Everyone deserves a second chance, but not a third one. Within minutes, he had implemented company-wide diversity training and turned a moment of discrimination into a lesson that would change the entire hotel chain forever. This CEO turned discrimination into education, and honestly, his response was more powerful than any lawsuit or public humiliation could ever be. Marcus Thompson had every right to destroy careers, shut down that hotel, and make headlines that would have ruined lives forever. Instead, he chose to be a teacher in the moment when he could have been a destroyer. But here's what I want to know. What would you have done in Marcus's position? Would you have shown the same level of restraint and wisdom, or would you have let your justified anger take control? Would you have fired those staff members on the spot, or would you have given them the chance to learn and grow, like Marcus did? And here's an even deeper question. Have you ever caught yourself making assumptions about someone based on their appearance? Because if we're being honest, we've all been on both sides of this equation at some point in our lives. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Tell me if you think Marcus was too lenient or if his approach was exactly what the world needs more of. And if this story opened your eyes to the power of turning moments of discrimination into opportunities for education, then hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell, because this channel is dedicated to sharing stories about justice, karma, and what happens when people's assumptions crash into reality. Now, trust me, the stories I have coming up will blow your mind, and you won't want to miss a single one. So what are you waiting for? Subscribe now, and let's dive into the comments. I read every single one, and I want to hear your take on this incredible story of power, prejudice, and the choice to educate rather than eliminate.